Coming to you live from an undisclosed location deep in the heart of Central Texas, you've entered the Bender Bunker, where there's no tabs, no slow motion, no split screens, just you and I trying to learn the B-Bender one video at a time together, and always living by the motto that it is never too late to go on a bender. Showtime. Howdy and welcome to the Bender Bunker. You know, when I started this channel, I think my first video was something along the lines of B-Bender building block basics. I remember it had a lot of B's in it. And the purpose, my intention of that video was to help new benders that were just starting out kind of unlock a few of the basic secrets to let them go a little bit faster and get a little bit twangier from the get-go, as we like to say around these parts. And I think it has some good information, but it didn't quite come across the way I'd hoped. So this is going to take the place of that. This would be a great place to start if you're just kind of new to the B-Bender. And we're calling this one Unlocking the Secrets of the Twang Box. Because let's be honest, that's a lot catchier and sounds a little bit dirty. What is the Twang Box? Well, let's let the Twang Box speak for itself. Okay, it's a quick example of the Twang Box. The chord shape that I started with, I never changed. I just moved it up and down the neck and let my pick hand and the B-Bender add all the flavor. That, my friends, is the power of the Twang Box. We're going to get on that, and we're going to throw a couple variations on top as well. So if you're just starting out, this is a great starting point for you on the B-Bender lessons posted on my channel. So if that sounds good to you, go grab your Bender guitar and let's get to it. Okay then, let's get started with the hot Twang Box action, which actually sounds even dirtier. Okay, besides that, the concept of the box and for guitar players shouldn't be all that new. I mean, let's go ahead and take an A bar chord. We're all pretty, you know, if you've been playing any length of time, you're already comfortable with the box concept of, you always see the articles how to break out of the box, that kind of thing. So the box concept's not new to guitar playing. This is just a different type of box. The Twang Box. And the Twang Box consists of, for this example, we're going to be on the 5th fret, barring it with our index finger, the top 2 strings. And then we're going to go 2 frets up for the next 2 strings, the G and the D. In this case, I'm using my little finger for the G and my ring finger for the D. So now we're making this chord, 4-string chord. When you engage the bender, that, my friends, is the Twang Box I was referring to previously. Now, slight variation that's going to be important for the Twang Box is once we have that down, we're going to do a 3-string version of the Twang Box quite a bit in the lessons you're going to see, at least on this channel. We're still keeping it covered up there on the top 2 with our index. We're moving our ring finger over to the G string, so now we just have these 3 strings. And the reason we do that is we want to free up our little finger to be able to play 2 frets up on the 7th on the high E in this example. And it's going to sound, you know, along the lines of... So that's just a big variation on the original 4-string Twang Box that we started with. Now, important note about the Twang Box. When I gave you the example of the A chord box to start with, the one we all know and love, that box actually does work in the A location of the bar chord. Unfortunately, the Twang Box is not as cooperative. Even though we're in the 5th, it's really for D. So, if you want to start soloing with the Twang Box like a lot of the B-Benders do, my cheat method to get you there quick to understand where you need to start with your hand position is, in this case, if we wanted D, I would go ahead and find D on my low E. I know it's on the 10th fret. I would count 5 down from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm on the 5th. So that's why I started the bar on the 5th and followed behind it. So that's the secret of how to find the right key for the Twang Box beginning. Okay, the next thing I want to cover on the Twang Box is let's go ahead and learn a lick on it, working right out of the box, because it's a lick you're going to hear. You've already heard a lot if you listen to B-Bender players. You're going to hear on my lessons as well, and it's going to be a... Okay? So what we're doing is, again, we're going to keep that bar. That's not going to change. We're going to hit the B string, bend it, little finger on the high E7, come back to the still bent B, and then the high E, and then back to the B, let it down, go ahead and do the G string on the 7th. And you come back. So practice that for a while. Same exact notes. So it's all about what you're doing with your pick hand, the tempo, the cadence, how you employ the bender. That's where you come in. I'm just kind of showing you the doorway to walk through with that. One last thing on the Twang Box before we move on is we've got a little bit, obviously we've got the real estate here in these 5th and 7th fret area. There's also some real estate down on the top 2 strings, 2 frets down on the 3rd in this example. So in that case, you can't leave it. You need all the real estate, all the twang real estate you can get your hands on, right? So in this case, I'll show you an example of the lick, a variation of the lick we just learned. So you've got to start working an exercise of how to transition your index finger, and in this case, I'll show you the transition I'm doing. I'm going. So I'm coming out of the index finger and I'm transitioning over to my ring and middle finger, with the ring finger being on the high E. And even if I want to start with this and go back up to where I was, I would have that transition along the lines of. So I'd be starting with them. I'd start with my little finger and then follow the index to bar it behind it. Or like what we started with at the beginning. So a great exercise when you're starting out in B bending is kind of getting your fingers used to that kind of transition within the Twang Box. And I would urge you to practice that and just get it to its second nature, where you're going back and forth for the full scope of the Twang Box as we're describing it in this lesson. All right, so that's all we're going to talk about the Twang Box. We're going to move on to what I call the 7th and the non-7th, and we're going to add that on just here at the end, so you have about 3 powerful building blocks to work with. That's going to make all the rest of the lessons a lot easier and really get you started, so stand by for that. Okay, if we think of the Twang Box that we just covered as our entree, let's think of these next 2 as a very tasty side dishes. And the first side dish we're going to go over is going to be a 7th shape, as in the actual D7 chord. So to get back up kind of where we were on the 5th fret area, let's take that D7 shape and go to high E on the 9th and go 9, 8, 9. So we have it there. Now this is a very fun shape. It's very twangy right from the get-go. So take the top 2 strings of that D7th and hit your bender. You can tell right away. Take the bottom 2 strings of it. So to get comfortable with that, let's do a quick exercise. Let's go ahead and make the top 2 strings on the 5th fret, and then the top 2 on the D7th here like we started with, and the bottom 2 of the D7 shape. And just play with those 3, get real comfortable going back and forth. Now, the nice thing about the 7th shape is, unlike the Twang Box, you don't have to transpose it. It is appropriate for the key of A that we're in. So play with those 3 and challenge yourself to be creative just with those 3 chordal structures. Also on the 7th, you can throw your little finger on the high E 1 fret up on the, in this case would be the 10th. So again, it's the pick hand and the bender doing all the work. Those are the same 3 shapes I just showed you. The 7th chord top end, 7th shape bottom end, and this the bar on the 2 here on the 5th. And then the final side dish we're going to go over is, we'll take that D7 shape where we had it, and we're just going to do its twin, the regular D chord shape. So now we're going 9, 10, 9. And that's a real major kind of pedal steel. You're going to see that featured prominently in the Mooney Part 1 and 2 lessons. When you get to those on my channel, you're going to see that shape, because that is very mimicky of what Ralph Mooney was doing. So there you have it. You've got your entree of the Twang Box. You've got your 2 tasty side dishes of the 7th and the regular D shape, moving them up and down the neck. And that makes for one tasty entree there of the B bending goodness. And it's more than enough to get you started if you're just starting out. That's a world of fun to have. And now that you know those shapes, you start listening to the Bender people you enjoy, Clarence White, Marty Stewart, those type of guys, you're going to start putting it together and go, oh, that's what they're doing. And of course, you're going to see it a lot in the videos and the lessons I'm posting as well. It's featured very prominently. So get comfortable with it, learn it, love it, live it, and you're going to go a lot faster in the lessons here and a lot faster in your B-bending playing. So I hope that was helpful to you. If you have any friends starting out in the B-bender, go ahead and share this video with them. One of my mottos is always, if you're enjoying the ride, hit subscribe. That'd be great. But our main motto we always stick with, it'll never change. It is never too late to go on a bender. Thanks for watching.